you doing?
How's everything?
Good. Thanks for coming by today.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you having us.
No problem. All right, man. So, what brings you in today?
First, I never thought I'd be sitting in this seat. I almost kind of want to do the
Lay down
usual,
thing,
where I gotta go here. You kind of see that usually on movies, man. But I think the biggest thing is really thinking about as I build out Legacy Cereal Company and Proud Puffs. One of the biggest things is really focusing on my mental health.
Right.
How it's affecting me daily. As I build this out. So
okay.
You came highly recommended.
Right.
So feel free to introduce yourself. I definitely want to do that. But
yeah. So first and foremost, you're here. I'm glad you're able to take that step to work with your mental health and take it as serious as you would a physical injury.
Definitely.
So I want you to be as comfortable as possible. If you want to put your feet
I
up.
will, man. I thought about that one.
You definitely put your feet up and be comfortable. My name is Kevin Payne. You've walked into the healing seat.
I like that.
Here, and I started my practice to work with individuals, particularly in the urban community, and work with individuals just to bring mental health to the forefront, right? Get rid of the stigmas around it and help individuals process through troubled times in their lives, right? And some issues that they may have with that.
Definitely.
Right. So you come here today with this whole thing around starting a business, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, first, I just want to throw out a question, man. Obviously, I think we're kind of, especially, culturally, as far as, Black people are concerned, I feel like we're kind of getting out of that whole narrative where, no, we shouldn't go see a therapist, and
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad thing. Have you seen an increase, especially as far as like the community is concerned? Have you seen an increase as far as picking up?
Definitely. Within the last 3 to 5 years, I've seen the stigma reduce around mental health and mental illness itself. Like more people are coming forth saying I have these issues, and they're not afraid to speak up and say so.
That's awesome.
Especially in our community, we're doing a great job with reducing that stigma by telling our own stories, telling our own situations, and
Sure.
having that open space and that period of vulnerability amongst us
Got it.
Occur.
Awesome.
And another thing is there's more people like us sitting in my seat, being forth and taking that step to become a therapist, whether they've been experienced situations or not.
Definitely.
So I think that helps as well.
Yeah.
The more people that look like us, the more comfortable you are sitting in that seat.
I first thing I did was when I was like, you know what, I had a rough, maybe 2 or 3 months, and then while really thinking about it, saying like, you know what, I really want to go talk to somebody.
Right.
First thing I said was, I need someone that looks like me. I need someone that's be able to understand it, understand my language, and like can really kind of identify it. So when I kind of put it out there on the social media atmosphere, like, hey, I need a Black therapist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's just what it was. You know what I mean?
That's it. Right?
Yeah. When I typed it, I kind of said, I was like, for everybody else that isn't Black, how are they gonna feel about it? You know what I mean? But for me, I was just like, this is what I need. You know what I mean? And I don't want to hide it. You know what I mean? Like as I'm building out my company, the intentionality of having a Black assistant or Black designers, et cetera, kind of putting those who generally don't get the opportunity in the right space. I was like, you know what, I need to go see someone, and me personally, in my opinion, I was like, I want to see somebody that's Black. So
right. I mean, it's tough, right? You don't want to be that guy. You're like, oh, I just want to go see someone Black.
Right.
But a lot of the theories and a lot of the concepts around mental health were developed by European individuals, right? But now we see that whole thing kind of change and kind of morph, and we know that it looks different for us as BIPOC members, right? Everything looks different. We come up different. We deal with things differently,
right?
And now it's a job of ours to bring forth and to recognize that the things that we made normal coming up aren't normal.
Yes.
And that is one of the biggest things that is around my job and us as mental health professionals to help individuals, particularly in our community, realize the things that we see coming up, the things we deal with.
I realized it. That's why I'm here. I realized it. I think the biggest thing for me when starting the company, I wanted to be able to share the experience. Everything that I've done has been documented,
right?
Because I knew there were going to be challenges, and I knew if I didn't document every piece,
right,
I would then have to find a way to validate it for those who haven't seen it. You know what I mean, personally.
Right.
So I said, you know what, I'm recording everything because I know this is going to be a journey.
Yeah. And just record that journey every step of the way.
Yeah.
And what's better than to objectively see what is going on.
Every step. And being transparent has also been the biggest thing. Building a cereal company from scratch is, that's pretty much the whole concept here. It's like, I'm literally building a cereal company from scratch. There are, being the first Black-owned cereal company has already put me in a space, but also created a certain level of visibility, which I love, because for me, I feel like that helps motivate, others that look like me to say, you know what, he is jumping out to do something that no one has done in a fearless way, which is exciting for me. But on the flip side, I'm going into, as I've been learning for over the last 7-8 months, I'm walking into an industry where there's no one that looks like me. But it's also extremely monopolized. You know what I mean? Like, there's giants that own it and have owned that space for a very, I think it's like a little bit over 100 years old for a lot of these industries, and I'm taking a beating, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, man. I can't imagine how that is. I can somewhat imagine.
Yeah.
But you say the word fearless. But there's some scary things going into this field. So what's your thoughts behind that? What's your thinking taking on this new beast?
Oddly enough, the scariest feeling, and I feel like this comes with me being the underdog, and this comes with me, kind of getting boxed out in this industry early. The thing that I'm probably the most fearful is letting down those who support me. We were supposed to launch, pretty much say like late April, early May. That was our production date. Unfortunately, the manufacturer kind of got out of our contract through a loophole, and kind of left us out to dry. So for me, the fear kicked in automatically. The anxiety kicked in because I have so many people that has written me letters and comments and that have supported me, even financially, to say, Nick, love what you're doing, we want to support it. And now I got nothing. So my anxiety level kicks in automatically because I'm like, I don't want to let these people down.
You have nothing. It seems like you have nothing to produce.
And the best thing that I can do is continue to update them and say, all right, you know what? We have behind the scenes. It's amazing. I'll say that to start. Behind the scenes is amazing. The conversations that we're having, whether it's celebrities or other people who would be interested in financially backing the product, loves it. But from the outside looking in, from those who are supporting me, they're just like, what's going on?
And that's, I can help you relate that to life in general, because we talk about what we're doing all the time and what we want to do, and we also skip over the behind the scenes aspects, and this is where that anxiety piece kicks in, because we set expectations for ourselves, and we think about expectations that others may have for us, and we could be possibly creating those things in our own mind.
I like that. I never thought about that.
How's that sound to you?
Spot on. Spot on.
Because no one came to you and said, hey, Nick, we want you to have this product out at this time, at this frame, and if you don't, we're going to be upset. Who created that idea of that?
I created that. I created that on my own. I think we could kind of put that pressure on ourselves. And I would literally, what you said, I've been saying to myself, I'm like, and just like, like Nick's dropping the ball already, you know what I mean? Or is Nick working? Is this, and I feel like over the last few years, we've been basically bridging the gap of trust between like the Black community, especially when it comes to businesses, so even if it's $8, or whatever the case may be, whatever our product costs, I still kind of say to myself, that person has given me their money, and I don't want to disappoint, and I want to deliver. And although I'm setting that time frame saying this is when they would want. You know what I mean? Like this is, you know what I mean? Like I know the way the brain works, and I don't ever want, you know, to let anyone down.
Right. And that's the weight that you're putting on your shoulders in anticipation, and that's where that anxiety kicks in there, right? And
yeah.
That fear, because that anxiety is like a fear response within the body, right? You know, and you know it's coming. You know, through some physical symptoms, maybe. You notice your blood pressure raising. You get clammy, sweaty. You know, start pacing and things of that nature, right? You start doing things out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And you may jump to conclusions, putting dates out there, giving false expectations to individuals. When if you think about it, and if you're able to catch that unhelpful thought, you're able to say, well, let me take a second to think about this, and let me take a second before I react to whatever it may be, or however you want to react.
Right. 100% spot on as far as the body reacting, and for me, everything was in sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it was just one of those things. Like, all right, how we're gonna make this happen? Because I've always been in a space to where I can kind of control my own destiny to some degree. You know what I mean? How I'm gonna navigate things. And I launched this business on like, all right, you know what? We have this in place. This manufacturer is kind of, we're locked in. We're doing the marketing. I mean, thank God, you know, I had the support from the people. So press kind of hit so quick. It kind of blew up the brand. So we went from Channel 12 News to Forbes in a month and a half. Which is, you know what I mean, like I said, like a blessing. It's kind of unheard of. But then I got to the spot to where it's like, okay, they backed out. Now I have to scramble to find another one. You know, but because I'm also coming in, one, really talking about Black ownership, talking about, you know, it being a healthier product. Unbeknownst to me, I'm actually pissing other companies off because I'm saying, I'm giving them something better. It's not a big box of sugar. So if you're producing a big box of sugar, you know what I mean? Now it's like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? And that's where I kind of started feeling like I'm getting boxed out because I'm reaching out to the big manufacturer companies and I'm not getting a response. I'm getting a no, and then that anxiety kicks in, and then sleepless nights kick in.
It's tough because, you know, with anxiety, you know, there's no sleep, right? There's no sleep. Your thoughts keep you up. Your mind is racing. You may even change your diet. Is that true with you? With less eating?
It was definitely
or more eating.
Combination of both. If I was stressing, I was like, I gotta give me a snack. I give me a snack, you know. But I definitely went through a combination of both. Definitely less eating. Sometimes eating the wrong thing, and for me, once I realized how bad the anxiety kicked in, I said, all right, you know what? I got to do something about it. You know, so for me, my escape has been going to the gym. You know, so I try to go to the gym 5, if not 6 times a week. I got, even though they're not sponsored, I'm gonna give them a shout out anyway. I got this this Whoop band, which pretty much like breaks down like how my body's reacting throughout the day. You know, what's my sleep looking like? So I'm able to kind of like monitor that and you know, hopefully kind of make some adjustments. You know what I mean, as I go.
So it seems like you do have some things in place, right? And with this band here, it probably does a lot for you. It shows your activity. It shows your heart rate at times. So you know when that sense of elevation is coming. You know when you're doing too much or doing too little. So that's the physical aspect of it, right? So mentally, when these ideas come in your head, what coping mechanisms do you have in place to kind of draw back or reshape those unhelpful thoughts that you maybe have?
You know, I like to think of myself, or I appreciate others saying it, that I'm a pretty positive person. You know what I mean? Like I just want to look at the, you know what I mean, like the best outlook possible. Again, just trying to train my mind in the right space because I know what I'm doing is going to work. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing for me is I know it's going to take time, and I'm okay with that. It's the expectation that I'm thinking others have on me, to where it's like, we seen you in the press, Nick. We seen you going all over. You're making a lot of noise. We need it now. And that's kind of been the thing that's been the most that's kind of affected my anxiety, because I'm like, every day that goes by, if I get an email, I'm like, someone complaining. You know what I mean? Someone that's like, Nick, where's my cereal? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Is this a scam? Is this real? And you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, no, this is 100% real. I work on it every day. It's just, I'll call it forces to be that are currently tripping us up.
Right.
You know, and slowing down the process.
Let me ask you this question: has anyone actually said, "Where's my product?" and how come this is taking so long?
Yes, but it's been a handful.
Right.
Compared to we're probably maybe over 1,700 plus people
right.
that have supported us. Maybe 5. I see where you're going.
Right.
Yeah.
And I asked that to say is to just to highlight the anticipation or the pressure that's coming. And those 5 people out of 1,700 people.
Yeah.
Transparency, right?
Sure. 100%.
Transparency.
Yeah.
Of kind of, you know, what is happening and what is going on.
Right.
That's all you can do. Right. And when it comes to you thinking that you can produce more than what is actually happening, that's when the pressures come in, right?
Definitely.
Right. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I guess the biggest piece for that is because from my research and the way I have it broken down is this is the stage that we should be at. You know what I mean? But again, you know, things that I can't control, and I think that's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing.
I have created a world for myself, for the most part, to where I can control all moving pieces.
Right.
You know, if I was making this out of my kitchen,
you'll be fine, right?
Let's go. You know, Proud Puffs everywhere.
Right.
You know, like that's what I know. But because I have to go to a facility, because we've grown so big so fast, and I had to stop doing press. Right. You know what I mean? Like I had to say, like, I can't do any more because all that's going to do is add more to me. So let's just stop. But I think from other people, if they're looking in, going, "Well, he stopped doing press.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Is it over?" You know? And that, again, it's no one has said that.
Right.
But in my head, I'm thinking people are like, "Oh, it's over." He had a little run. It looked promising, but it's done.
Yeah. So our work together would be reshaping those unhelpful thoughts to some helpful thoughts, right?
Sure.
And we can just take example of this thought you just had, right? It's going nowhere. It's over, right? We know that's all of nothing thinking, right?
Sure.
All or nothing thinking, I should say. And we know that it's not end all be all, right? So how could you reshape that thought there to be in a more positive thought to help you go forward instead of being that depleting thought?
I think the biggest thing for me is, well, one, it's in theory, it's I guess it is my thought, but not my thought. You know, because if you ask me, you know, you say, "Nick, how's probably amazing?" Right. You know what I mean? The brand's amazing. These things, these are great things that are actually happening. Right. That's what I'd be able to tell you about the business. Okay. But I have planted in my head that there are people that think it's over. Right. And that's the part that's there, you know, but similar to what you said earlier that I think is very helpful when you said, like, well, who said, you know, how many people said that or who said that? Right. You know, and I'm still thinking, like, all right, it's a handful. Right. And I think I have to focus on the majority. Right. That are still cheering me on.
And yeah, so let's take a step back, right? So you have the situation, right?
Sure.
Let's pinpoint the situation. I feel like I'm not producing the cereal quick enough.
I feel like I am letting people down.
Okay. We can deal with that, right? I feel like I'm letting people down, right? Now, from that thought usually comes a emotion, right? So what emotion comes to you, or what emotion do you feel when you have that thought?
That's a great question. I'm still, you know what's funny? I'm still learning how to break down how I'm feeling.
Right.
I'm generally kind of always fairly neutral. If someone said, like, "Are you happy?" I'm kind of like, "I'm cool." Right. You know what I mean?
Right, definitely.
You know, so
in this particular instance, when that thought comes to mind, I'm letting people down, right? How do you feel?
I'm not sad.
So let me stop you.
Yeah, please help me out here.
So we're gonna put some ratings on these thoughts.
Okay.
So when you say I'm not sad, it would be 15% sad out of 100. I'm 15% sad, and then you can choose more than one emotion.
Okay. I like that number, maybe 15%.
Okay, sad.
Yeah,
And
sure.
if you could put another emotion in there.
Throw out another one that isn't.
I mean, frustrated, angry.
Let's boom. Let's say they're frustrated.
How
Oh
much
man,
frustrated?
how much do I have left? No, I would definitely say maybe about 70%.
Okay.
Frustrated. If not we're gonna use up the rest.
The rest, right?
Yeah,
right.
I would definitely probably use up the rest.
Okay.
Because yeah, it is frustration because I don't have control of this piece.
Okay.
And I'm usually in control.
Okay. Okay. And how true of those emotions do you believe that you're 15% sad and you're 85% angry and frustrated?
You said how true do I believe it is?
Right. How true is that to you?
I think it's pretty accurate.
You could put a percentage on that too, on a 0 or 100.
I'm gonna go with 100%. I'm gonna say
100% of it for each, right?
Yeah.
100% sad and 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of behaviors does that lead you to do?
It's tough. So I mean, I guess the first thought would be to stop everything, escape, and you know what I mean, just really just be in my space and not do anything. That's the first thought.
Right.
I mean, thankfully, you know, my belief in what I'm doing always pushes me.
Mm-hmm.
So there still is no day off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So even if I did get an email like that you know 1 out of 5 or whatever that said, hey man, you know, we went in and I don't know if this is gonna happen.
Right.
Send me my money back.
Right.
All right. You know, it'll put me in that space for you know I don't know maybe an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gotta snap out of it and go, all right, you know what? I got 5 calls today.
Right.
You know, I gotta turn Nick back on because I got investor meetings, or I'm gonna speak to this celebrity today, and we gotta keep it going. So
Right.
I don't get time to, and I don't want time personally to kind of like wallow in those thoughts.
I get it. So what we have here now, right, is the situation I'm letting people down, right?
Mhm.
You're 15% sad and you're 85% upset or angry that you're letting people down.
Mm-hmm.
The behavior that comes from that is you wanting to quit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a healthy behavior? And does that align with your goal?
Definitely not. And, I'm super happy that I'll use the word designed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're all designed a certain way. I feel like I'm happy that I'm designed that way to where quit is not an option. I've had people ask like, so what happens if it doesn't work?
Right.
Like it's gonna work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there is no it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It may take a little longer,
Right.
but it's gonna work.
Okay.
So that thought of quit doesn't stay
Right.
too fast.
So you said something particularly
Too
there.
long.
It may take a little longer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to work.
Sure.
Right? So when you have that unhelpful thought, right, or it's going to take a little bit longer, comes to mind as well after that.
Mm-hmm.
How could we reshape that initial thought of I'm letting people down to make it a more helpful thought? And you just said it yourself, so
Help me out here.
along the lines of, because I'm letting people down is like all or nothing, right? I didn't produce this product, so I'm letting everyone down, right? So how could we think about I'm letting people down to a more positive way that allow you to keep going? And you even said it yourself, that particular phrase that you said that allows you to keep going.
It's all embedded in me. So if I said it,
Right.
I may have said it
It's
unconsciously.
there. Let me give you a little alley hoop.
Please, I'll take it.
So it may take a little longer,
It may take a little longer.
but I'm going to get it done, right?
I like that.
And that's reshaping that unhelpful thought, we'll call it. Because if we're able to catch those unhelpful thoughts in the midst of periods of anxiety where your mind is racing, and you just take a minute, you take a breath and just think. Think about, catch those unhelpful thoughts and reshape it to allow you to keep going forward.
Got it.
And it looks like you do it,
Definitely.
but with more practice, going through what we just did, which is a thought log. And usually we write them down on paper. I give my clients some paper to write it down, and it helps them catch that unhelpful thought when they're going through that period of anxiety and the mind is racing.
Got
to
it.
reshape their thought, and in essence, it reshapes their behavior of
I like that.
going forward.
I like that the idea of a thought log, and I've had people tell me like maybe journaling is a good thing, and I'm really big into affirmations. Even the back of the cereal box is an affirmation, a word search. I even on my phone, I can't remember the name of the app, but I do have an app that will send me an affirmation every hour. You know, and I whatever I'm doing, I'll take a second, really read it, breathe in and out, you know, and really kind of take in whatever that affirmation is for the moment. So, you know, I definitely feel like I'm in the right direction. And obviously, as the company grows and, you know, we start to pull on staff, there's going to be more responsibility. But I think the biggest piece for me was to catch it early.
Right. And I applaud you for doing so, you know, because if we don't catch things early, we tend to send ourselves down the spiraling path of continued negative thoughts and negative behaviors. What made the pressure may be too much. It lead us to quit. It'll lead us to shell in, and we're not as creative as we are after we allow those things to affect us.
Definitely.
So you being on top of it is a plus.
Yeah. I definitely. It's interesting, and I've had this conversation a few times. You know, the biggest thing, and it's been like a meme, and you know, I've been running around for a while to where they're like, you know, if you got $150, whatever it is, start an LLC.
Right.
You know, start a business.
Right,
you know, it's
right,
like
right,
there,
right.
And no one talks about the mental health of business owners.
Right.
You know, and I feel like that is a topic that, and this is another reason, you know, why we're here. That is a topic that needs to be discussed more.
Right. Because what people don't see is because that's the easiest part.
Yeah.
To get your $150 and fill out the form and start your LLC.
Mm-hmm.
But then now what? Now what?
Right.
You got the weight on your shoulder to produce product.
Mm-hmm.
You got your weight on your shoulder to please other people.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with other people and their emotions. Why my product not? Why I don't like it? Why it's not here on time? Why change this? Change that? Right? And all that takes a toll on you mentally and physically if you allow it.
Right. And
so in creation of all that, you have to create some time for you. You have to create some self-care space.
Yeah.
And people think self-care is an hour or 2 hours or going on vacation for a week. That's not necessarily self-care. Self-care can be 5 minutes that you just take your time out to do some deep breathing. Take your time out to do some things that you enjoy for that little bit of time. Like if you take 5 minutes just to read a little short chapter in a book, or maybe more than 5 minutes. But you know what I'm saying? It looks like that short period of time that people just don't close their office door or something, turn the computer off for that little time and do some breathing exercises or something just to regain their sanity. And a little bit of self-compassion where you're loving on yourself in that 5 minutes, telling yourself there is a lot going on, I'm having a difficult time, but I'll get through it, I'm human.
Wow. Two really, really good points. Self-care is huge, and I think that even just, everyone in general, we just got to learn to really get into that space. And like you said, whether it's 5 minutes, a couple hours a day, a weekend, disconnect from whatever it is that is kind of weighing on us. And find yourself in something and doing something. I like the word you use, kind of like loving on yourself, and putting yourself in a better space. You know what I mean? Because we all have responsibilities. You know what I mean? Whether it is a work in a workspace or a family space, and I think that's just the other big piece. And with what you mentioned, it's like, you get the LLC, and then what? You gotta focus on your customers. You gotta focus on running the business. How is that affecting your relationship? How is that affecting the family? So people aren't really saying that stuff. People aren't talking about it. And this is one of the reasons why I really want to continue to build the business around transparency is because when you look at Instagram and social media, you only see the highlight reel.
Exactly.
And we need to see more of
the bumps,
right?
Man. The bumps and the speed bumps and the bumpy road, and not just the takeoff part.
You have your, I think social media is generally glorified, and those that we look at are celebrities mostly. You have your actors, you have your musicians and your sports players, and it's like it would be great for us to see, like, all right, you know what, I'm getting this contract's terrible, or I'm not sleeping, and you know what I mean. So if anybody wanted to then walk in your shoes, they can go, all right, I gotta watch out for these certain things. You know what I mean? And like there's a preparation and. And this is why I've documented the whole journey. So when it's time to really tell that story, they can be like, all right, you know what?
This is what happened.
Nick went through that.
This is what happened.
So it's not just LLC. It's these things need to be in place as well.
We see often those celebrities, those postings. We see the 5-minute post or 5-minute picture of that particular time frame, but we don't see the 10 years that they struggled. Prior to getting that one break, and getting on and doing things of that nature, right? But in the midst of that, there was struggle, and while they're on, there still is struggle, that people don't tend to see. So,
and they don't show,
and they don't show, and they don't show. So I applaud you again for just taping this whole process and recording this whole process, so that it is transparent to the people. And then those 5 people that. That question you and question their product.
Here
you go.
There it is.
This is why. This is what happened.
And even in the space, I respect people's time and their money. So no dollar amount, big or small, am I upset? I'm like, you may have had something in your mind. So it's like, I really wanted some cereal, next week, and this one I thought it was coming. You know what I mean? So like, I'm never upset with that. But similar to what you said, it's like I didn't want my social media, which I ran from completely. For the last 2 months, hence the anxiety part. But I didn't want my social media to just be highlight reels. Like, oh, Nick was on this show, or Nick did this interview, and it's like, no, well, I want you to also see where Nick was getting turned down 4 or 5 times, and this investor told Nick he wants to, change the whole design of the box and X, Y, and Z. I want them to see that so they know, like, all right, you know what, this is a journey.
It's definitely. And some of your self-care and mental health space to preserve your mental health, I should say, could have been just to let that social media go. Because that's where the pressures are. You're looking at this, you're looking at that. I constantly got to keep up with my people and put this video, put it out there, and it's taking your focus away from what is really going on behind the scenes. And some things that you can make concrete behind the scenes.
Definitely. It's by no means was the goal, because we still sent out our updates and updated our website. By no means the goal is to lose that transparency, but it's extremely distracting. You know what I mean? Like whether I got 150 comments that said we love you, keep going, the 2
there was 2 negative comments
that said, oh man, Nick, what you thought you had it, you know what I mean? Those 2 I'm gonna look at and go, and I think the great part, and I guess I'll attribute it to my faith and my upbringing. Those 2 comments don't keep me down forever. You know what I mean? It may not be past 5 minutes,
but it catches your attention.
I see it,
and you focus on it.
I see it because I'm a people pleaser. I'm naturally a people pleaser. I won't lie. And what I'm doing is for more than just myself. So I want to make sure that those who support it and want to see us grow, they're happy throughout the journey.
Before you leave here today, I want to give you this home practice, I call it, and it's like a log. 3 good things today. That's the name of it.
3 good things today. That's already like
because we tend, like you said, to focus on that one negative thing happened. In the day, and a million positive things could happen to us today, and we focus on that one negative thing. So this little home practice is, you're jotting down one good thing that happened to you today, right? One good thing that you saw someone else do today, and one thing that made you smile or that was fun for you in the day, right?
That sounds good.
You complete that daily, and you tend to focus on those. It has your brain coming up with some thoughts about some good things that may happen.
I love it, man. Kevin, again, thank you.
Thanks for coming, man.
You are officially part of the Proud Puff journey.
I'm happy to be.
You know what I mean?
Like
people don't understand. It's the mental health side of things is what gets me up every day.
Right.
Or anybody, you have to be sound there. You know what I mean? For you to navigate your work life, your social life, whatever.
Right.
If this piece isn't there, nothing else works.
It's nothing else works, man. The mind is it's a strong object within the body, strong tool.
Yeah.
We have to treat it as such. If we break our leg, we run to the doctor right away, right? Right?
Keep going.
But in those mental capacities, we tend to hide it, and we tend to just put a Band-Aid on it when we need the ultimate fix for it, right? And it's something that needs constant repair.
Sure.
Right? And constant shaping. It's just not like a one-time thing, right?
Right.
We have to tend to it all the time on a recurring basis.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So you made it. You're doing it, and it's one thing I like to leave with individuals, and it's you made it through your worst times in life already. You already made it through your worst, right?
Love it.
So continue to move forward and attack those goals.
My God. Thank you again, sir.
All right. Thanks for coming.